Friends, today the 2nd of June, the year 2012, and we are on the first day of our retreat in Eden Bridge. And yesterday we already learned about how we create the bad energy in the environment through the rising and the killing of too many animals. Also, by the solar flare and electromagnetic field, it becomes thicker and the rate of transport becomes faster. So that's why the signal it transfers in the universe becomes stronger and faster. That's why whatever we send into the field, we will get it back. So if we send out the signal of loving kindness, of positive, of healthy condition, we will receive back the signal of peaceful, tranquility, happiness, and well-being. But because our mind, from the time we were born, right, we already have unhappiness, hatred, greed. From the time we just got out of the womb, give you something, if you like, we wrap it right away. We try to hold tightly, right? And if somebody to take away, we cry, we yell. Or even though when we not be taking care of that, nobody pay attention to us, we try to cry, we try to do something to get people's attention.
Excuse me, brother. Did you say that we are born with these negative traits?
Yeah. Because for a long, long time, we didn't have opportunity to look after that, to transform that. And even though in the present moment, if we not learn about the two sides of that, we still input the energy through the way we eat, through the way we drink, through the way we live, all the time. Okay, we all show only one side. And with the illusion, we nourish on the negative side more than the positive side. And that energy is just carry on forever if we not break that cycle. And so, when we spread out all that energy, that energy will travel in the air, in the emptiness, and it will synchronize and we get it back. And not only it affects our own body, it affects the whole community and the whole earth, the whole planet, and the whole universe. And then also, yesterday, we already learned about the way we feed our body. So if whatever we bring it in, and for some reason our body not accept it, or we don't have enough oxygen, we don't have enough digestive fluid, the digestive enzyme, and then it turns out become bad stuff in our body. And the law of extraction come in, and it will collect, it will extract more and more things come into our body. And after that, we get stuck with all of the material, all the chemical, all the toxin in the body. So both materially, physically, we bring the toxin in on a daily basis, in every single moment. On the invisible, very subtle level of energy, we still bring it in, and we still send it out continually. So that's why we get upset, fear, anxiety, all kinds of the unwholesome energy. It affects not only our mind, our body, in the whole. Therefore, it will suppress our immune system. It makes our immune system become more vulnerable. And today, I want to show you the correlation again between the all the energy it affects on our own body and to the universe. Especially we have a lot of chronic disease now. We have lots of tumor, cancer. We have a lot of multiple sclerosis. We have a lot of the mental disorder, depression, psychiatry, schizophrenia, etc. So that's all the negative side of whatever we consider the positive, and we abuse that. The advance of technology, the advance of the electromagnetic field, the advance of the medical system, the advance of the pharmaceutical industry after the World War II, etc. So,
before you move on, the question about being born with these proponents for negative energies, are we born with them, or do you think we're born into the energies here and they're just stronger for a child or a baby? Or do you think it's from the womb or from ancestral lineage that we bring that energy with us into a world that didn't have that energy until the baby was born in, or didn't have as much of, you know what I mean?
yeah, actually it's both, okay? Because why? Because we know about the law of the conservative energy, right? And then we learn about the law of attraction. For example, we know
attraction.
Yeah, the law of attraction. Right now we still debate, okay, the chicken first or the egg first. So actually it's at the same time, conditioning, right? But we may assume the chicken first, right? And it grow up, become the hen, and the hen will lay the egg. So when we grow up, when we were born with all that energy, are we talking about the conception? If the mother and the father in a good state of health, in the good state of mental formation, that means in a wealthy, healthy, educated, right? So they live in an environment with very peaceful energy. They generate the peaceful energy, right? So that.
Where does past life karma come into this?
Yeah, we were talking about that right now. So if that, okay, they generate that, we consider the wholesome energy. So by the law of abstraction, right, they will abstract the positive, wholesome energy. What we call that the universal energy, we can call that the soul, we can call that the middle body, whatever. It depends on the culture, depends on the religion. But actually that energy it travels in the universe. So it will compatible with the mother and the father energy. So when it gets into the womb, it will have to be compatible with that. And then during the time for the pregnancy, if the mother continues to maintain that energy level, that condition, the baby will grow up in that. So if during that time, for example, at conception, they have a negative energy, so they extract the negative energy coming. But during the time for the pregnancy, the mom knows it and recognizes and transforms. That means she changes her energy, and the whole family change the energy. It slowly changes that. And after birth, the same thing. But every one of us about 85 to 90% at least, we were born with that, more or less. And then after we get out, when we grow up, the environment, the school, the society, the family, all that add on. So, and then we continue to grow up to get aging, and then we die. Added up all the energy we generate in the whole life. And especially at the last minute, near-death experience. So we have two different forms. One is continually throughout our life, and the other one at the moment, or around the moment we are dying. So all that impact into the final state when we transform from the low energy level, it gets stuck in the material body, the physical body, and it transforms into the lighter, higher energy. So we get out with that, and that energy be affected by the continuous energy we build up throughout our life, and it may add on with the last minute, depend on whatever stronger. It will determine the way or the direction it travels. And from that, it will travel into the universe. And again, the mother and the father come together, and it will generate a frequency, and it will extract the other energy in. Right? So, and then,
the awful with the reptilian brain and animal brain, with all the behaviours and instincts that they have, which are negative. So you don't go bending yourself too much, you know, because it's natural to be greedy, it's natural to survive, and we have to transcend, don't we, by love and willingness and gentleness. And for me, it's the journey is to transcend the ego, which is all the negative stuff.
yes. And actually, you know, the Darwinian theory, that one applies only a portion for the evolution of the human being. Depend on the religion, we have the other origin of our ancestor. For example, in Buddhism, the Buddha said, we had the origin from the other planet.
So you're spirituals.
Right.
You're
And then that happened throughout our religion,
yes.
from the Mayan people, from the Greek people, and unfortunately we don't have enough time to show you all the evidence of that. And
so exactly the brain,
the structure of our brain, and then the skin, the size of our body, the size of the pineal gland, all that incorporate into. It looks like we have a computer, right? The computer is just in the hard drive. If we don't have the software, we don't have the power, we don't have our mind. It is nothing. It's just a piece of plastic or a piece of metal. Even though when we install the software compatible with that, but without the power, it still can do nothing. And when we connect the power, when we have a software and a hardware incompatible, but if we don't have our mind to control that, to that, it still cannot do anything. Or sometimes, okay, it will mess up. For example, at the same time, we open too many windows, we open too many software, it will frozen, right? So the same thing in there. So actually, the message here, our mind, it has a very, very powerful capacity. And we were talking about that at the final stage, why we need to do meditation and what the benefit of that, and the technique of that. And again, I will show you the other side of meditation, but not many people tell you that. So back to the level of energy. I told you before, consider to our body first, and from that, okay, we expand the scale out, or we zoom, we screen the scale at the smallest unit of the being. So we look at our body first, it's much easier. And then from that, if we understand, we can recognize, we can listen to our body, and then we can listen, you can understand other people, you can help other people. Our body, in general term, it be compiled at least 4 different levels. The first one, what we call that the foundation, the physical body with the muscle, the bone, the skeleton, the tendon, the skin, and the organ, etc. To make that body, the physical body, move or in action, we need to have the physical body. That means all of the chemical reaction, biochemical reaction. And to regulate that biochemical reaction on the hormone, on the substance in the second body, we need to have the brain. And this brain is what we call the headquarters of all the activity in the lifetime at the present moment, when we have a consciousness only. So that is just the report of our brain. In the transition state, we have a subconsciousness in the brain. That subconsciousness level, it can help to regulate during the time of sleeping, during the time of in coma. And then below that level, it much more substance. We have what we call the spiritual or the universal energy. That usually at the again, it has many levels, but we can divide it into 2 subgroups. One, it can govern, it can regulate, it can control our present life during the higher state of meditation, during the state of subconsciousness, when we go into the real realm, when we can connect or we have an out-body experience, the real one. When we are in a very terrible accident, like shock in the operation room, or when we have accident or whatever, we have a real out-body almost death. And then the very high level, very sub-level, that means the level of people enlightened, but they still carry the body of the human being. Right? What we can call that the bodhisattva, or the angel, or whatever. But that people, they already finish, they already adapt, or they can come back to the oneness with the whole universe. But they still carry the physical body as a means to be fit in the physical world, to help other people. And if we get out that completely, we not depend on any physical world. That means, okay, we come back to the natural energy, the universal energy. So at that stage, we are very free. We can manifest any time, any place, any form. Invisible, visible, in the middle, and we can multiply, we can manifest at the same time, many different places, many different forms. So that means, okay, depend on the universal energy, depend on the condition, depend on our wish.
So is that your understanding of Buddhahood then?
Not only the Buddha, Buddha or the Buddhism theory, but that is in general for all religion. Yeah, that is for all. Mm-hmm. And then you see, if we say that, so every single living being in this universe, need to have energy to survive and to develop. No one, even though physical form are invisible or invisible, that means no form. Big like an elephant, right? And the whale, they need energy, that is for sure, because they are too big. But smaller as a virus, we cannot see by our naked eye, right? But do you think they need energy? They need food? Definitely yes, right? Doesn't matter how small they are, but they still be considered the material and physical form, right? And then talking about the unphysical, non-physical, or invisible, like mental formation, like loving kindness, like worriness, upsetness, mad, that is invisible, right? So, do you think all of that phenomena need energy to survive or to develop or not? Yes, they do. The problem because we not recognize it and automatically, illusively, we supply the energy for that. For example, when we see a dangerous object moving toward you, the signal, your eye capture that and it send it to the central nervous system. The central nervous system will send back with some hormone, some chemical, adrenaline to stimulate your heart, right? To stimulate your muscle. Okay, so that's ready on fight or flight. That is not bad. That is very good response. That is naturally to protect ourselves.
Adrenaline.
Right. But because we stimulate all the time, and then the illusion, we thought that whenever we have anything stimulate, okay, we react. And it becomes automatically react without the stimulus. And from that, it generates the chemotoxic under the bad substance, and it makes our body become too overactive. And all that reaction become automatically, and it will take out our energy unconditionally. Or for another example, I'm working out in the garden with my brother, and then somebody say, "Oh, that guy look something wrong," right? So if I just keep working, I don't pay attention to that. Or if I heard that, but I ignore that, no problem. But if I heard that, I say, maybe somebody talk in my back, right? And then if I got that one and it be attached to my mind, and just keep thinking, who's that? Why talk my back? Okay, so when I just keep thinking and thinking like that, okay, that means at that moment I supply the energy for that. And that mental formation is grow up, right? And the doubt, the anxiety, it start to build up. And then now I go back to my room, I tell to my friend, whenever I repeat that story, okay, that's the time I supply the energy for that, right? So it's good and bad, both sides. The same mechanism of action when we learn something new, right? If we had a lesson, a song, the first time we read it through, we look it through, we cannot remember. But every single time we look at that, we repeat that. That means we supply the energy for that. So it gets from the short-term memory into the long-term memory. Right? Every single time we repeat that, that is the time we support, we add on, we provide energy. So that means it goes from the short-term memory into the long-term memory again. So it helps to remember later on. So the same thing for all mental formation. But because of all of the negative energy we have in the universe, in the environment, so now we be affected by the negative energy, negative mental formation more than the positive. Even though we don't have that, we don't generate that, but if we don't know how to control our gate, that means our mind, automatically we get in the more or less. See, the same thing like yesterday, I said, even though we are vegetarian, we don't eat animal products, we don't drink milk at all. But if we're not aware and we not help people to understand that, other people still kill and right and kill animals by that way. And the bad energy still spread out in the universe, and we still get affected from that. Depend on how far we live from that, depend on how sensitive we are to that. So back to the energy. As you see in here, the pyramid from the left and the pyramid from the right is totally opposite. What that means, normally we have an illusion. So we think that, yes, our body, the physical body is so big, it's so firm, right? So that's the foundation, true. But he can do nothing without the biochemical reaction. And even though with all that activity, without the regulation of the brain, it will mess up and maybe it's more dangerous. So the more subtle body, the more important. When we compare that to the universe, we think that our planet, we have the solid, the earth, right? It's formed, and we think it's important. But if we look at our planet, the ocean, more than the earth, 3/4, right? Almost 3/4 or 2/2, more than 2/2, almost 3/4 of our planet is the water. The water is so soft, so flexible, so smoothly, right? But above that, we have the air, right? The air we cannot see, we cannot taste, we cannot feel much. So we think it's not really important, it's not really powerful, considered on a physical level. But if we compare, you see, the water slowly can erode, can take away on the physical form on its way. You see the last year, almost 2011 in Japan, a few years ago in America, in the Middle West, in Asia. So whenever we have the big wave coming, it will sweep out everything on its way. See? And if we compare the next level, the wind, you see the wind. When the wind blows smoothly, lightly on the ground, we don't see anything much, right? But you see the tornado, right? How terrible tornado. And the tornado, before we thought that, okay, it's really powerful. It can draw in and it can throw us on the heavy and big object. But now they can find out that it not only has that power, it has another property. That means what we call dematerialization. Because we already talking a little bit yesterday. Because if we look at our next time, we think this is the ceramic, right? It's solid, it's stable. But if we look a little bit deeply, we will see this is the combination of all of the silicon, sand, mud, or clay, right? But if you look deeper, we see every single molecule of sand. It has a phosphor, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, silicon, right? And if we look deeper, in every single molecule of carbon, we have many atoms bind together. And in each atom, we have many electrons moving around. So it continually moving and changing from one form to the other. So when the tornado, the wind is circulate, becomes the tunnel. The force from the top, it less potent, less power down to the bottom. With the speed of that, the centrifugal force, it will break down. On what it means, okay, it will draw out it will provide energy into every single atom of that object. And that object become now, it will supply the energy, so the electron, okay, it's moving faster, and then it will expand to the level, it send that energy back to the universe. So even though it has the physical form, but the energy, it comes out into the time-space, more than the solid, the space-time. So all the atom, the molecule, okay, almost losing the weight, and then it will lift up from far away, doesn't matter how big, how heavy. And then when it will draw up to the top, the power, it becomes weaker, and then be carried to the different place far away, and then it drops down. So when it drops down, the energy released out, and then the frequency, the energy level, it becomes lower and lower, and it condenses back. So you see that why during the tornado, it has even though only a straw. You see it's very soft, very weak, but with the assistance of the power, it went to the very thick concrete wall. It stay in the middle. Or even though it can go through the thick glass, and it's maybe when it goes into the middle, the energy spread out, and it loses energy, and it gets stuck in there. So a lot of events before we cannot explain that, because all the theory we learn from the basic, okay, it's not appropriate to explain all that unless we have a wisdom to see through the universal energy. So back here, you see, even though the wind, we see it's very soft, very weak, but when it concentrates, when it collects all the energy, it has a very powerful nature on the ground. The same thing on the water, on the sea. When the wind blows through the ocean, it can create a very high and strong wave, and it can say 20, 30 meters high. And then when you go to the top level, yeah, we don't see the air move, right? We don't see the effect of the air now. But look at the storm, look at the environment change, look at the wind. What makes that? The shift, the movement of the air. Without the movement of the air, without the movement of every single electron in every single atom, the air will stay at one place, and we have no life at all. Right? Think about that. If every single atom is stayed at one place, at one state, never move. That means it never change, never grow up. So that we consider again the impermanent, again the way of change, again law of conversational energy of the universe. So that's why whenever the atom, the electron move, it makes the air move. And when the air moves, it makes the difference in the atmosphere. And the pressure, that pressure will create a shift, and it creates a wind. From that, it creates the flow of the ocean. So that's why you see the pyramid on the right is totally opposite. The real energy from the universe is totally opposite. The more subtle, the more powerful. And if we look at our body, and I think everyone will have this experience, especially when you already been through a very hardship, very difficult situation. Not everyone needs to eat to survive, right? We can go without food, without drink for a few days, few weeks. Not everyone, because we not learn or we not believe that yet, but everyone have that capacity. Everyone can do that, for sure. At least a few days to a week, that is minimum. People can go without any food, without any drink for months.
Without any drink?
Without drinking, without eating at all. Okay, depend on the level of your energy, depend on how we practice. But we do. And I told you in India we have one gentleman, 70-year-old. He 80-year-old, but he never eat anything, never drink anything. And personally, okay, I met at least a few in Vietnam for the 4 or 5 years, they never drink, never eat anything. And for yogi, you know, many yogi, they have an exhibition. They can be buried down to the soil for at least 30 days. Look like a dead person, right? So that means they don't eat, don't drink anything, but they're not dying, right? So, but normally people in the real body, like us, like you and me, with training, you can go without eating first. You can go for weeks to months, no problem. Why is that? Remember, we had a second food. That means the food we eat through our eyes, to our ear, to our tongue, to our body. When we don't drink to our mouth, but we drink to our skin. Think about that, the moisture in the air. So that's why when you feel thirsty, you go down to the shading area. You feel cooling down and okay, thirsty is less. But when you're out in the sun, you feel thirsty more. But secondly, we were talking about that later on the third level. And then when the reason why I told you yesterday we need to do the purification during the spring and summer, because when we're not putting any solid food in our mouth, we have the colorful out there with the spring and summer. We had a full sunshine, the energy from the sun. We had all the song, the birds singing for you to hear, the sound of the leaf, the sound of the wind, the sound of the water, the ocean. We have all beautiful sound out there. And we had a very gentle, cooling wind, right? From that, all that will nerve up. So actually we fit our body through the higher level of energy. So, and then when we fit our body at the higher level of energy, we feel lighter, more enjoyment, more freely. And above that, we have the third level. That means our mind, our spirit, our encouragement, So if at the same situation, but it will react differently, we will handle the result differently. You are sitting there, right? You look at here on the board, all of a sudden someone behind you hit to your shoulder, boom, kind of very painful, right? And then when you turn around, if you see that person is your very best friend for a long, long time, you never met her, she's so happy, right? You hug, you embrace, and you may tear, and the pain disappears. You're so happy, right? But and then you turn around and see, who's that? Not remember exactly, but thinking about that. So it's still, right? It's not really painful, but it's still there. But if you look, turn around and look at, oh my goodness, that's your enemy, the girl you really hate. So now all the chemical is coming out, and then you feel angry, and then heat coming up, and the tension, right? And you feel tired. So it's same action, but depend on your mind react to that, and it become many different situations, many different levels. So if we are working under the sun, but if we accept it, or we relax it, we feel almost okay or normal, and we not feel thirsty much. But and then if we feel uneasy, we react. We again that we feel more tired, more thirsty. And again, we already learned the two opposite force, right? The more we again about that, the more we get it back. So, and then thinking about that, when we are in the hardship, we may not need any solid food, any concrete energy, because that's low level. But we can live with the environment. That's why when you have a walk in a park, in a beach, in a nice area, especially in the vast area in the nature, it's peaceful. You feel calm, you feel enjoy, and you feel fresh. Sometimes you can feel a very strong energy. And you can sacrifice, you can go the whole day without eating, without drinking anything, but you still feel very enjoyed, very fresh, and very energetic. And again, above that level, we have our mind getting in. When we are in a hardship, if we have encouragement, if we have ambition, we can get over that easily. Right? And above that, we have the belief in the religion. We have the belief into our true home, our trueness, our creation. That means a universal energy. And if you have that belief, even though we can sacrifice this whole body, but we know that we will save, we will transform. You see? So that's why the higher level of energy, the more powerful. But and then the other side of that, when we eat wrong food, contaminated, we may have upset stomach, diarrhea for a few days, and we can resolve it right away. Not a big deal. But when we have a problem with environment, you see, or when we abuse the 5 senses of our body, when you listen to a peaceful, joyful music, you feel energetic, you feel happy. But when you upset, when you're sad already, when you not feel good, and you listen to a terrible music, too sad music, it makes you feel like I'm going to die, right? When the children now, they look at the internet, again, the internet, it will have a lot of useful information, but if they don't know how to invest the time in that. You don't know which side to get to search for. A lot of bad information. It just repeat and repeat, and all that energy get in. The music, the movie, internet, magazines, all that affect environment, society environment. So it have both positive and have a negative. You see? And when you get up to hit the third level, when you want to do something, you have ambition, you have a determination, you have encouragement. You go up, it's very strongly, you successful, you pass through, you went through all of the hardship. On the other hand, if you will put it down, you will discourage, right? And what happens? You may feel very depressed, very sick, and sometimes one commits suicide. For the people who fall in love, the same thing, right? When you fall in love, sometimes, okay, you don't need to eat. You just want to hear the other voice. You just want to see the other face, right? And you can go for a day or for a week very happy. But the same person, when they turn around, instead I love you, now I hate you. The same person, but then we react totally opposite. We feel depressed. We still don't eat anything. So depressed we don't want to eat anything. But if we feed that energy, we can go for a few days, but okay, go down instead of going up. For people in business, the same thing. We have ambition, we have a goal to put in. But if we don't know the other side of that, when we got our business bankrupt, whatever reason, we not success in the career, in the business, we feel depressed, that is normal. We feel sick, kind of acceptable. But some people, and many people, especially nowadays, the rate of the commercial side is increased because the force is too strong and they not really recognize the other side. I told you yesterday, the more we are build the positive side, the more the negative side. So more and more people get depressed, more and more people commit suicide because they abuse the speed of the positive. And the same token for the spirituality, for religion. Do you know that the number of people who were killed in all the religious war is more than the number of people who were killed in World War I, World War II? It's more than the number of people who were killed in all the earthquake, all the catastrophe.
So which war was it?
Huh?
Which war were they killed in?
Add on all the number of people in the World War I, World War II, and all the catastrophes, you lack the number of people who were killed in the religious war.
Religious wars, yes. Thank
Throughout
you.
history.
Yeah,
Yes, so that's true. In Europe there was decimation.
you see, so that because when they had a belief, but they're the wrong one. So it's really good when you have the right belief. Okay, you can sacrifice your own body, but you want to live it up, right? You don't want to be whole in the physical body. That is good. But on the other hand, it has a negative side. They still can sacrifice their body to kill other people. So that's why we need to recognize both sides of that. And why we need to know this one, because this one can apply into many different aspects in our life. And especially, we have to know the different level of energy. So, first, again, we already talking about every single living being needs energy to survive and to develop. That's for sure. But even though the non-physical form, or what we can call in general, every single phenomenon in the universe needs to have energy to survive and to develop. You got that, right? So, positive, the same, negative, the same. 30 years ago, I don't have cancer. 20 years ago, I don't have arthritis. 10 years ago, I don't have a cholesterol, diabetic, or heart attack. Right? So why now I have it all? Because I already give them energy, give them environment. I invite them in, and I provide energy for them to survive, to grow up. Without the energy, with the environment, no way they can come in, no way they can grow up. So the only thing we need to do now, understand that, recognize with energy and when we provide that. And then slowly we change it, what we mean, recognize it and transform it. That's it. Remember the hepatitis B, hepatitis C. This is not a place for them to live in here, right? Because if we provide the house, we invite in, and we provide food for them to enjoy the party. Without a house for living, without a food for eating, to survive, no way they can live here. The same thing for cancer. Yesterday we looked at the meat, the way they produce meat, the way, okay, we didn't have time to show you the way they produce on the vegetable too. But the chemical, the toxin, the physical form, the invisible, the bad energy, all that get into our body. But it's much easier for our body to recognize the physical form. Our immune system will recognize right away. Why? When the bacteria outside come and attack your body, the virus outside get attack your body, the piece of wood, the piece of stone, when you go out there and somebody on a car ride by, and then okay, roll over the stone and kick you. Okay, so all of that from outside